So, I mean, for you and for me too, right? I've had plenty of companies. I started a lot of businesses, a lot of
Yeah,
different
same.
businesses, right?
Listen.
And most of the time, I'm gonna say 90% of the time, there isn't like a streamlined way of doing things, right? Like I started a party rental company, a moving company, and every single time is I've always had to figure everything out on my own, right? Or I could have
You got a
gotten,
mentor, but that's
I could have done that. Now
okay.
we know this is why we're here today, right?
Yes.
But that's why for me, I think that sometimes the bad apples can kind of muddy the pool, right? Because if I wasn't able to find a mentor, but if I was able to find maybe like a course or something where someone was giving me the information that I needed at the time,
Yeah.
right? Like something as little as insurance. I remember I found like uh uh an insurance company that would insure my party rental business,
Hmm.
and it literally cost me under $100 a month. It was called Next Insurance. This is a little gimme,
Okay, I think I know
right?
of
Right.
next. Yeah.
I think it's like a government insurance. I'm not sure, but because I had insurance, I was able to go to the parks in Miami-Dade and the parks in Broward County, and
Yeah.
I was able to add my company to that directory,
Yeah.
and be just that one little less than $100 a month made me so much money because I was at the park. So when families needed a party rental company, and they would call people on Facebook or they would call other people, they would say we can't go to the parks because we need permits for that or we need
Yeah, we
insurance
need
for that.
insurance,
And
yes.
just because of that, under $100, and I'm talking about bigger. Some companies had like 15, 20, 30 bouncers, thousands of chairs and tables, and they weren't getting into the parks just because they didn't know
Have
this little
insurance.
tidbit,
Yeah.
right? Just so small, right? And that's something that I think is in almost every single business where it's like this little separator is the difference between your business failing and your business succeeding,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's why it's good to have, because we are going to be working on like a jump start for the people who are
Yes.
watching this podcast, right? I really want to, we have your book, if they want
Yeah.
to dive in, but the taking the first step but taking the correct first step is so important.
Yeah, and I feel like that's very key when it comes to owning a business and keyword owning. I think a lot of people get stuck in operating a business. If
Mm,
you continue to operate your business, you will never shift from operator to owner. And I feel
I
like those are
see.
not the same thing. So that example of a company having multiple bounce houses over, 1,000 chairs, you're more focused on operating and folding the chair and giving the service instead of owning the business and actually doing the legalities that come with it.
Right, the background
So the back,
administrative work. I
yes. So
see.
that's
I
the
see.
difference between operating one and owning one. At that point, you'll just forever be an employee
An employee of
of
yourself. I mean, you
yourself.
have a little
Yeah.
bit more privileges, but you're still tied down. You can't wake up and go to Orlando tomorrow
Yeah.
because you gotta go and
You didn't do the proper back end systems. You
right.
didn't do the proper back office. Like, I don't know if, a lot of people don't know how like restaurants or just the hospitality industry works, but they have different departments called front of house, back of house.
Okay.
And those, two different things is like, your front of house is your servers, your hostess, the people that you see on the front end.
Right.
They're the ones that look like they're doing the most work, but it's really the back of
Yeah,
house that's
right.
really doing it. And that's your chef, that's your
Right.
runners, that's your all the people that's in the back that's providing the service for the front of house is really what makes hospitality such a streamlined process. But if people don't run their business like that, then you will never get to that place of being able to separate your back office and your front office.
Yeah, I've definitely dealt with that, and even sometimes even a little bit of guilt, right? Like where I've had, guys going out on jobs, and I'm in the back, well, at home or at the office doing the administrative work,
Yeah.
and they don't get to see that, right? So I mean, even right now, we have a team out doing a move down in Wynwood, and they don't get to see the back end work that I'm putting in to make sure that everyone's getting their hours
Yeah.
and to make sure that we're growing so that I can increase pay. They don't really get that side. It's just, well, we're doing the work, and for most people, it stops at that. But like a business owner, when you actually want to grow and be a good business owner, you have to step away. It's paramount
Yeah, no, you
that
have to.
even if you're making less money, I'm completely okay with making a lot less money as long as I have the freedom and I have the ability to do what I need to do
Yeah.
so that I can grow.
Yeah, people are just scared of delegation. I think that's
Yeah.
just all it is. It's like, oh no, this is my baby. I can't.
Right.
No one can touch my business. No one can do it better than me. Like,
I was a
no.
perfectionist. When I first started, like I was a perfectionist. I wanted no one.
Oh yeah, you couldn't tell me nothing. Go ahead. Do you not see my hair? Like, come on now. Like every curl is in place, sweetie. Like you cannot tell me I'm not a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist at heart.
Right.
But I had to understand that with certain things, you need to learn to let it go. You
Exactly.
cannot be operator, executor. You can't be all the manager.
can't wear all the hats.
You can't be all
You
of that.
can't do
Okay,
that.
you're
You
not an
can't-
octopus. One. Okay, so like that, this just doesn't work. It just
Right,
doesn't.
right.
So I feel like when people learn to let go, that's when your business actually flows.
Goes, okay.
So it's just learning to let go what you can't control. If you continue to put your hands in every little pocket, your
Right.
business is going to be stifled right
Even what
there.
you can control, like if somebody else can do it, like
Yeah.
even
Pay it
80%
out.
as well as you can do it,
Yeah.
it's time to let them get better than you at
Yes.
this, right? But in the midst of all of this, right, you went to pageant and
Yes.
you did really, really well, right?
Thank you.
First place, first runner up,
Yes.
right? Like, and it was your first pageant.
And my first
In
pageant.
the midst of all of this,
I know, it's literally insane, y'all. When I tell you my life doesn't make any sense, it's just crazy.
like I know people are scared to see what you're gonna do in 20 years. Like I don't
yeah.
even want to know.
I mean, even I'm scared, but hey, we still gonna do it though. I have no idea where I'm going, but I know it's to the sky at that point.
Any other business ventures that you have your eyes on, or
I would say after the pageant, I did run for Miss Women Entrepreneur International, which focuses on empowering women when it comes to their careers or business and giving them the spotlight, unlike other beauty pageants that just focus on solely beauty. So when I did the pageant, it did open my eyes to like mental health advocacy and suicide prevention, because yes, I am all these things, content creator, investor, entrepreneur. But when you are not in your right state of mind when it comes to mental wellness, I realized you won't be able to operate at your best self. So during that time, it did open my eyes to be able to support more initiatives that's in that. And I am launching a nonprofit in the soon come future.
Okay,
I can't really say too much details because
Okay.
nonprofits is a lot more legalities when it comes
Right.
to structure,
Understood.
and making sure that I'm properly doing it how IRS wants me to do it,
Yeah.
so I am not fined. Hello. Okay, because we are not going to jail, nobody. Hello. I'm too pretty for that. No.
right? No, right.
But so I am working on a nonprofit organization that will be focusing on mental health. So that is one thing that I am pretty excited for. It is very different because most of the business I do is for profit. So this will be my first, jump into the nonprofit space. But I do feel like there is a need for that, especially in the entrepreneurship community, in the Black community, in the Caribbean community. That's very much a taboo that's talked about. That's not talked about when it comes to mental health. They look at it as you're just, crazy, or there's nothing wrong with me. What do I need to talk to a therapist for? Or what do I need to get help for? When it's just like, no, that's to advance you.
Right.
So that is something I'm working on after the pageant. That did spark an idea for me to have a nonprofit organization around that. So
I think you're gonna do great with that. I think
Thank
you're gonna
you.
do great. Yeah, I think when something is intangible or it's not, visible, it's so easy to dismiss it.
yeah, you don't see the importance of it. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh, I mean,
Hey, come on now, your leg is fine. Like, go to work.
yes.
So-
Until something happens to you,
Exactly. Even
like-
then, sometimes I see that it's kind of like it's still brushed under the rug.
Yeah.
Like especially in like our community as Haitians.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to. I remember I went to the flea market one time. This is years ago. I think I was like 12 years old. I went to the flea market and I saw a little boy having seizures.
oh my god.
Even at 12, I'm like, oh, that boy having a seizure. And his mom grabbed him and she was like, oh, the devil is back. I'm like, no, he's having a
No.
seizure. Like,
Yeah.
this is a problem that you need to bring him to the hospital for. So we do make, we don't, like, we don't make it a priority to educate ourselves on mental
Yeah.
health or, certain problems that aren't visible or tangible.
Yes,
So
I
it's
feel like a
definitely
lot of people, brush it under the rug.
yeah,
Like that is very common, for people especially when it comes to just mental health or just anything around that, vicinity when it comes to just depression or anxiety, or people think it's just like, oh, you're just in that moment, this is how you feel, but you never know that you actually are struggling with that. And
right.
it's like an ongoing thing.
Ongoing
There's a
issue.
difference between being like anxious because you're about to do something and you
Right.
actually live with anxiety. And you're just
Yeah.
like, oh no, I'm fine. That's just how I am. And it's like there's solutions
Yeah, it's
to
literally fight
fix
and
it.
flight
Yeah.
constantly
There's
happening in your
solutions.
mind every single interaction that you're having. It's a big thing.
Yeah.